Recently, we've been talking more about lo-fi photography. For us, that's when technical quality is not the priority, to the point where intentionally removing technical quality becomes part of the goal. Some of the best photography I've seen is a bit messy. Now that's subjective, and I certainly have admiration for photography that is of high technical quality that also speaks to the soul. Lo-fi photography can be achieved in a number of different ways in 2023. Let's talk about a few today and a project and product that might give you some inspiration. For one, a lot of our lo-fi photography comes from our wonderful Fujifilm X100V. That's the camera I'm going to focus on today, but that's not any sort of requirement for this art form. In 2023, it is fair to say that almost any film photography can be considered lo-fi. In my judgment, and maybe only mine, current digital technology far exceeds the technical characteristics of film, from resolution to dynamic range. There's undoubtedly exceptions, like full sheets of large format 8x10 film. So I'm really referring here to 35mm film, but also from what I've seen, digital full-frame cameras rival or beat medium format film much of the time. On that topic of film, a while back, we compared one of Fuji X Weekly's Tri-X 400 film recipes to the same shots with actual Tri-X 400 35mm, and the results were quite similar. Another thing we use often are lens baby lenses. Two of our favorites for the lo-fi look are the 28mm velvet and the 85mm velvet lenses. These lenses wide open will give you a soft glow and shallow depth of field, and as you stop down, things get moderately sharper and the depth of field increases. We've taken these lenses everywhere, and when you put one on your camera, you take a deep breath and you say, I'm making these images soft on purpose. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to embrace it. When I want softer, I'll work with a wider aperture, and things will be fuzzy. I'll be challenging myself to take advantage of that effect in my artistic vision. And for me, my goal when shooting with these specialty lenses is to get the final shot right out of the camera and the lens with no editing. I'm normally set for JPEG, and what I get is what I get. This, to me, brings that relaxation, mindfulness, or even phototherapy that Leigh and I have both been talking about recently. Leigh and I are working on a project together right now. It's an astrophotography project with a special new lens. It's not lo-fi photography at all, but since it's astrophotography, we've been going to cool locations in northern Arizona where the skies are very dark. And you'll see the full results of that project in just a few weeks, and we'll talk about that sharp new lens. Now, for astrophotography in general, Leigh and I both like to arrive early and get set up long before it gets dark. This has given us a chance to be out in the woods with time to kill, which is wonderful. And if that doesn't have lo-fi photography written all over it, I don't know what does. In fact, on the advice of a friend, we recently tried out 4 Moment brand filters. And Moment was kind enough to help us with this after we spoke with them and learned more about their company and their products. We're each trying out 4 of their filters, pictured here, and some here as well. The ones we're trying are their circular polarizer for stomping out reflections and finding great contrast in the camera at the point of capture. Number 2, a UV filter, primarily for protecting the front of the lens. Now that's important, especially on the X100V, because the lens is connected to the camera. Break the lens, send in the whole camera, pay a lot of money. So a little protection on that integrated lens can go quite a long way, save you some time and some money. And there's 2 more filters, and this is where things get interesting from the lo-fi photography perspective. Moment's Cinebloom Filters. Now we're talking flare, light blooms, soft edges, and an overall analog-like, film-like softness to your images. We've tried their 20% Cinebloom and their 10% Cinebloom, stronger effect for the 20 than the 10, and I think you can stack them too. We'll have to try that, but I'm pretty sure you can stack them. They're easy on and easy off. They'll work on the lenses you already have. Now, the temptation here, they come in different sizes. The temptation can be to get the largest size filter available, and then you step up rings on your smaller diameter lenses. That can be a bit ungraceful. You end up with a big filter in front of a smaller lens. It's up to you, but we opted for a 62mm size, which works great on our X100V with a small step-up ring, and on our Q2, our Sigma L-mount contemporary prime lenses, and many of our Nikon Z prime lenses, and certainly on these older Nikon F-mount prime lenses as well. Now, Moment manufactures these up to 82mm, so you're covered even on most larger lenses. But for us, wanting to keep things lean, we looked across our collection and decided that 62mm would work on most of our creativity lenses, and it's a filter size that's easy to carry around. The great thing about these filters is that you're adding lo-fi elements to the lenses you've already purchased. You can add or remove the effect without changing lenses, and we love Lens Baby, but unlike Lens Baby, with the Moment filters, you can add them to a fixed lens camera like the X100V. Also, to get slightly more technical, for Lens Baby, you add or remove the effect, the softness effect, by changing aperture. While on the Moment Cinebloom, you have the effect when you add the filter, and then you change aperture to suit your conditions, creativity, and mood, and this does not change the nature of the lo-fi soft effect. It's a constant effect, regardless of the aperture that you select on the lens. Also, and we alluded to this when it comes to protecting the front element of the X100V, the lens, where the lens is built into the camera, there's no Lens Baby that's going to work on a Fujifilm X100V or the Leica Q series. There's simply no lens mount. The lens is permanently attached. Now, here's what I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you that you need filters like this or a Lens Baby or other things that you put in front of your camera. Lo-fi photography can be with any camera you desire and any lens, and no filter on the lens required. There's plenty you can do in many cameras' menus, like Leigh and I showed you recently with grainy black and white and a custom extreme digicam LUT in the Panasonic S5 and the S5 II, respectively. What we do encourage you to do is try different things, and that's exactly why we ourselves wanted to try out these Moment filters, and we've been super happy with the lo-fi therapeutic results, and we plan to keep using them. Now, my question for you is, do you have a lo-fi fix? And is it camera settings, something you add to your camera lens physically? Or is it just a different mindset that you switch to in your own internals when you want something a little bit different with your camera? Tell us down in the comments how you approach intentional low technical quality lo-fi photography, and I'm sure we can have some great discussion down there. Thank you for watching, and let's bring it down to those comments and have some good conversation. Thanks, everyone.